Slow-mo zombie violence, slow-mo gunfights, slow-mo emotions. Save him, save me, save them, save her. And you get Batista doing some Batista things for maybe 15% of the movie. Army of the Dead is a new Netflix original written, directed, and stretched to its motherfucking limits by formerly good and now very pretentious director Zack Snyder, whose body of work includes the Dawn of the Dead remake in 2004, 300, Sucker Punch, Watchmen, Man of Steel, Justice League, and the Zack Snyder 4-hour cut of Justice League. And depending on how you feel about Zack Snyder as a director, if you think he's done really good shit throughout his entire career, even with the dips, you may really enjoy this movie. If you are kind of mixed on his work, then you may be kind of mixed on this movie, depending on how you feel about zombie movies in general. If you're not a fan of zombie movies, you're probably not going to enjoy this. And even if you are a fan of zombie movies, it's going to depend on, the kind of patience you have for this. But as far as how I feel, you could resurrect George A. Romero. Hell, you could have George A. Romero now, who's been dead for nearly 4 years, rest in peace, direct a goddamn movie, and it would be way better than this. This was written by Zack Snyder and 2 other people. 3 people wrote this 2.5 motherfucking goddamn fucking stupid fucking zombie movie. How did this movie get to 2.5 hours? Oh, I know. They added so much goddamn slow motion. Seriously, I think that I'm going to see in slow motion for the next 2 goddamn years. In case you can't guess from that intro and how I just described stuff there, I didn't really enjoy this movie. And I'm not the biggest fan of zombie movies, but Night of the Living Dead, Day of the Dead, Dawn of the Dead. Day of the Dead was kind of a mixed bag, but actually had some pretty good ideas. George A. Romero was always good at using social commentary and everything for how, people dealt with the undead and using undertones and stuff like that. And Zack Snyder and the writing team sure tried for this, but man, this movie, despite trying to be a 2.5-hour epic, if they had cut the slow-mo and just, a few scenes that really didn't matter, so that would have been about 90% of the motherfucking movie. And in case you can't tell, this is going to be a bit of a scathing rant. So if you're a Zack Snyder fan, you're probably not going to enjoy this. I'll get into spoilers in a little bit. But I like Man of Steel. I'm not going to say it was the greatest thing, but some people didn't like it. I actually didn't mind Man of Steel. I liked how gritty it was. Sucker Punch wasn't that bad. It was much more fan service than anything. But people in the cast, Dave Bautista, who plays Scott Ward. I love Dave Bautista. I loved him in WWE, even with the injuries and stuff like that and some of the creative stuff that he did. His personality always shined through. And even the Blue Tista stuff. I felt bad for knocking Bautista when he came back because he wanted to do some really good stuff and he was in between Hollywood gigs. He's done great in the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. And he's done great in other stuff. He was great in one of the James Bond movies. He's done really, really good shit. He has excelled, and considering how late he started in wrestling, he's done really good into his 50s doing, acting. And he's a big, beefy guy that really tries stuff, and seriously, the guy's fucking huge. Even dropping weight, the guy's still just fucking massive. You also have Ella Purnell, who plays his daughter, and you had a character named Vandero, and I had to write this stuff down because so many things were popping into my head. I had no choice but to write down notes. Omari Hardwick was in this. Annadella Regura, who was the nun in Nacho Libre, the beautiful one. My God, she is fucking ageless. That movie came out in 2006. She looks fucking great here. Burt Cummings, I promised you that I reacted to that name with the good taste and maturity you've come to expect from me. Bly Tanaka was played by Hiroyuki Sanada. Not Sonata, not Cold Skull Sonata for the New Japan fans there. And there was the character Lily, a.k.a. the Coyote, Nora Aranzder. And I'm pretty certain I butchered that, but she is like just, if you had Rhea Ripley be a little bit smaller, she had a fucking presence in this. She was beautiful, and there was some really good stuff. You know what this movie reminded me of? You ever see the movie Doomsday with Rana Mitra? It reminded me of that. Except Doomsday was written better. Doomsday also, even though it took itself a bit too seriously at times, at least understood what the fuck it was. This movie, anytime it tries to do comedy, it fails. Because every actor that tries to do their lines are like, okay, let me just, let me just be as funny as I possibly can. Let me take these, this hodgepodge of ideas from 3 different writers and seemingly 3 different planes of existence because stuff's just thrown into a goddamn melting pot. Shit's thrown in there with all the slow-mo and everything and all the stuff. And let's just mix it together. And yeah, 2.5 hours zombie epic. That would have been better if it was 1 hour and 45 minutes. I understand trying to create something grand, but you don't need to reinvent the goddamn wheel while also being as cliche as fucking possible. Despite the fact that this thing was 2.5 hours, any depth they tried to add to the characters was surface at best. I'm not saying that the characters or the actors didn't do the best they could, but there was so much stuff about this that just felt so forced. Oh, this character has somebody that they want to get back on their side. This person has their own sinister intentions. This person's going to do this, da, da, da. You know, it's obvious where everybody's going. Oh, this guy's going to be the goofy, nerdy comedy relief, in theory. And then, of course, there's zombies. Lots of zombies. Hordes of zombies. Hordes of zombies in Vegas. That's what you get for waking up in Vegas. All right, so in the not too distant future, next exposition AD, because you have so many characters explaining shit. Oh, this is why this is happening. This is why this zombie's doing this. This is why suddenly we're just going to flip the plot device because we're going to try to create a franchise out of this, even though we threw so many ideas into a goddamn blender, fleshed none of them out, and we pretty much just blew through everything in one movie. It's not like the Mortal Kombat movie where it was all set up with a few things that paid off. No, they're just going to throw a bunch of shit into a goddamn blender. So, I'm going to get into spoilers in a little bit. You have a military convoy, they're carrying a payload, things go tits up, and suddenly Vegas is infected with zombies. And then sometime later, Scott Ward, aka Batista, he is a fry cook because there was like something where he was part of a military group that got a bunch of people out, but there's of course hordes of the undead, and they're walled off and everything, and there are people that, you know, were right near the quarantine area, you know, right near the area that may be infected, may not be, and they're trying to basically figure out if they're infected, and they're treating them like shit and everything. They have them not in cages, but in tents, so at least it's not, oh, I don't know, it's a bit of intense stare down. It's a bit of intense interrogation. I'll stop right there. This is trying to do the whole thing with immigration and stuff like that. So, okay, another wrong with having some social commentary. George A. Romero did a whole lot better. Zack Snyder ain't really good at doing it here, and neither are any of the writers. So a team gets together because Bly Tanaka is like, hey, there's $200 million in the safe. Go get it. You can give me some. And then, you know, even though I got the insurance paid off and this money technically isn't good, hey, let's just have you go get the money. You could take $50 million and split up among everybody on your team. Well, then the team gets to be about, you know, the size of the NWO in 1998. So, well, they're not going to divvy that up all that much. But the money keeps decreasing and decreasing. But people are like, yeah, we'll take that. And they go in and things start to go all crazy. And, oh, maybe there are some zombies that might have a bit of a level of intelligence. Because you need to throw more ideas that George A. Romero did first. And just throw that stuff. And I'm not saying that George A. Romero is the only person to ever think of smart zombies. But he was the person that created the zombie genre. He basically created the idea, or at least popularized it. And the Living Dead stuff, there was some meat to it. There was some good social commentary. This has nothing. There's no likable characters. I mean, it's not that everybody's like an unlikable douche. Everybody's just a cardboard cutout. Here's this guy that wants to, you know, get his daughter's love back. Here's this person, it's a tough as nails mercenary. And so on and so forth into goddamn infinity. So as things go on, you know, they got to basically get out before this nuke is launched because the Congress has basically decided, hey, we really shouldn't have this area of infected people. Let's just do this. We should have thought about doing this when it first happened, but whatever, we're kind of idiots. So yeah, they do that. They wall stuff off, and they're going to do that, and they got to get this money out and quick, and they got to get to this broken down, they got to get a broken down helicopter to work. They got to do a whole bunch of cliches. Oh no, they have a pilot, they have all this stuff, but things are going to go down. So okay, they got this big plan from Bly Tanaka, and of course, it doesn't go all that well because plans among the undead never go all that well. And Batista does some Batista things at some points and throws people around and does some stuff and does some emotional stuff. Batista has a good range of acting, you know, as far as his skills, and there's some beautiful women in it. But the problem is once it gets to like showing the undead, some of the special effects, some of the makeup effects aren't bad, but they've been seen before. Some of the special effects, they look like shit. 70 million into this, they look like shit. And it is actually baffling that they managed to sink 70 million into this, and it looked like the budget was maybe 30. I imagine that about 5 million of that went to Batista because he was the biggest name actor out of anybody here as far as like anybody well known. No disrespect to anybody else. Yeah, everything about this movie is cliche, bad, and not good at all. I'm going to get into spoilers here in a little bit. So, yeah, actually, I'm going to get into spoilers right now. the movie just ends up dragging on with the slow-mo, and just all the gunfights and stuff. No! How could you do that? Even though characters keep making dumb decisions just to advance the plot, such as it is, and it limps, and it limps, and it limps, and it limps. And I didn't care. I had a feeling near the beginning I was going to have problems with it. And I was like, you know what? I've been wrong before. And no, nothing really changed my mind after the first hour. It just got more stretched out and worse and worse. And Zack Snyder should be embarrassed that he put this out. Really, really fucking bad. Yes, there was Slo-Mo in 300. Yes, there was Slo-Mo and other stuff. But Dawn of the Dead in 300 showed that he has potential to make fun, pulpy, good stuff with some characters that maybe just on the surface don't have much. But there's some good stuff to these characters. And now it's just evolved into just doing a bunch of Slo-Mo and a bunch of shit and everything. And let's get Dave Bautista to be in it. Again, I like Bautista. So anyway, let's get into spoilers right now. Spoilers. If you've seen this, you won't mind this. If you haven't, spoilers. Anyway, I'm going to go with some stuff I wrote down. So, everybody gets trapped. Zombies get walled off. We got a great big convoy leaving Area 51. We've got a great big convoy. Someone's getting roadhead. They crash into the convoy. Free the Colossus zombie. I'm ruining the song here. Then he bites everyone. And then he brings them back. And then we get a credit sequence where we get all these people that are infecting everybody. Even though if you look at the casino strip that is there, everybody looks like they're all goddamn brain dead because they gamble their money away. Okay, I'm done singing it. Man, that fucking sucked. Anyway, if I can't sing one goddamn bit. So, yeah, we get a credit sequence with Elvis, Viva Las Vegas and stuff like that. And see, there's nothing wrong with doing stuff on the nose and having some fun and everything. But even George A. Romero, and I hate to go back to that, but Land of the Dead, which I wasn't the biggest fan of, had stuff to it. It did the stuff with the zombies gaining a little bit more intelligence. Well, Day of the Dead did that with the zombie learning how to shoot the gun. There is a way to do it where you aren't hitting people in the head repeatedly. Anyway, so yeah, Batista's working at a burger joint and flipping meat and everything. Give me what I want! No, if you get it, you get it. And then he saved the Secretary of Defense and a whole bunch of people, and even though other people died, yeah, he ends up getting, brought into this job. And, well, there's people quarantined outside the wall because immigration and all that and everything. And let's just do that shit. And, oh, you need money to buy their freedom. And there's abusive guards and everything, just in case we haven't hit this on the nose enough. And then there's a jerk, there's this jerk with, like, that's abusing women and stuff like that. It's implied. It's never shown. Thank fuck. Bautista basically has flashbacks of when he had to kill the mother. And his daughter Kate hasn't talked to him for a while. So, yeah. Great. We're getting some more. So we're getting the backstory of guy being traumatized by his past. And then we get everybody basically being, brought in like, oh, let's get a recruitment thing. It's kind of like Armageddon. Except Armageddon was better written than this. And then he gets Maria. You've got to see her. That Van der Rohe guy, Omari Hardwick, actually is pretty good. And brief backstories on all of them. And then we get a guy that's brought in because he shoots zombies on social media. Cool! And then we get a bad rendition of Bad Moon Rising, ironically. And you have a 32-hour window, basically. You have to get this money, get out. And you get to this copter that's, you carry gas with you and then fuel yourselves up there. Because carrying explosives around zombies always works well. See Dawn of the Dead when they threw the propane tank out. And let's just do that. Oh boy, another montage. It's all about the brain and how you eat it. No, wait, I'm sorry. That's just a Triple H line. And I'm just getting into full-on quip territory at this point because, yes, you have to set up the stuff and everything, but this could have been accomplished in 30 minutes. Instead of by the point we get to 50 minutes and they're just getting into the quarantine zone. And then it takes forever. And I'm sorry, but this is not the epic that Zack Snyder thought it was, at least not to me. And then they reach the casino. They got to reach the casino in 2 hours and they got to do all this stuff. This is crazy. You're all going to die. Aha, man, what women always say to me. And easy peasy Japanesey because Bly Tanaka is Japanese. But he's got to say easy peasy lemon squeezy because this German guy, who's a safe cracker, he's a locksmith. He says, well, no, we can't say that, even though the guy's Japanese, you goddamn idiot. Blind security guard Martin decides to join. Man, Martin, not Martin from The Simpsons. That would have been amusing. But he's got his own sinister intentions. Dun dun dun. And Batista basically needs his daughter to help him get there, and he'll give her the cash because they got to get through the quarantine zone. They can't fly in there. No, that'd be too easy. Even though there's a military presence, you seriously could just fly in there. What are they going to do? Military people are leaving anyway. You could get whatever. I mean, they honestly, it's more fun for them to sneak in there because then there's more peril, more music and snark and more slow-mo stuff and bus ride into the quarantine zone. Boy, Kenny Loggins is going to be kicking my ass if he knew who the fuck I was and if he ever heard this. Try not to get murdered or, eaten by the undead. So, and there's this girl named Gita or Greta or Gretel and Hansel who goes into the quarantines or goes into the zone for reasons. I mean, I'm going to leave some stuff up to you guys, but he goes in there for whatever reason. And then this Lily leads her in there because she's a mercenary for hire. It's like Rana Mitra's character, except, with less, actually, no, about the same amount of muscles. About the same amount of character also. Lily looks better. Anyway, they they get in there and then the door and the jerk guard decides to join them too. They finally get into the zone, going through a whole bunch of carriers, and they get in there. And apparently the sun kills them because there's a bunch of shamblers, but they're all dead. Why are they all dead? Maybe they'll come back after rain hits them. It's a joke. It's a joke. All the shamblers are dead. And then Coyote provides exposition. It's Coyote exposition, ugly if you will. There's a zombie tiger because let's just rip stuff off from zombies. And if you've seen Zombies, I'm sorry, that movie was shit. They have a zombie horse later also. And Cummings gets shot. Man, I hate when Cummings blows his load too soon. They basically have to make a trade. So he's going to be a way to distract. So they go into this part of the casino. And then they have to get underground. 6 underground, if you will. They want 2. And they'll get, in there and get to the casino. The Screechy Queen. Oh, she's a Screechy Queen. Left eye, she's eating me. And, yeah, they have smart zombies called alphas. Because smart zombies, let's just rip off everything from George A. Romero. Screechy. You know what that is, Your Highness? Those are the screeching zombies. So, man, Olympus is their headquarters. Mount Olympus. And one of them is staying on a model of the Statue of Liberty. You blew it up, brains. Damn you all to brains. Now I want to see that version of Planet of the Apes. It'd be less brain dead than the Tim Burton version, though that wasn't his fault. It's zombie John Carter. Thank God you're here. Seriously, the main zombie guy, the guy that was released from the fucking crate that killed all the military people, he's like the Colossus zombie, and now he's got hair grown because no zombies decided to, eat a hairdresser. It's a dead man's party. Who could ask for snores? I was almost falling asleep at some points. Walk like an undead Egyptian. So, at one point they're walking through a whole bunch of zombies doing the T-pose. And then, one person gets caught and she decides to try and doom her way out of that. Not doom, but doom as in the Doom, Marine. And then she ends up getting killed because Martin decides, hey, I'm going to cut off this team member. And then she blows herself up because this ain't the chambers of love. Tonight she's fried. Told you I'd have quips. And we get more, stuff at the exposition corral and more gunfights and more slow-mo. So much slow-mo. Man, I'm going off on this thing. And they go to the roof. Well, they send the pilot to the roof. Go up to the roof. Go up to the roof and do some stuff with that chopper that clearly will be in good shape. And whatever. They find more blueprints. Maybe there was a team before them because, sending idiots into the hordes of the undead never goes well. And unless you voted for Trump. And then it's a heart-to-heart. No, you never showed up after you killed Mom. And to be fair, he probably thought you hated her. Anyway, I spent so long hating you that I can't just turn that off. Oh, God, people are always saying that to me, especially women. So, casino power is on, and man, we get more Elvis music playing, and we get, man, they got the money in the safe space, if you will. I'm working hard on this one, and, oh, God damn it. Is it another team or is it us? They discuss, could it be a multiverse thing? Obviously, it's not, because nobody would want to be caught in an infinite time loop. It'd be like the triangle. or Triangle, except Triangle is better than this. It was more well written. Made no sense, but it's somehow more well written. Zombie King has live brides and still treats them better than Stone Cold Steve Austin treated his girlfriends and his wives. But yeah, one of them is that friend Greta. And then Riot, the zombie queen, and cut her head off. That was the plan, not the money. Get the head of the queen so you can create your own, you can have the power to create your own zombie army. This guy apparently is the precursor to Albert Wesker in the Umbrella Corporation. I'm going to have to review all the Resident Evil movies, aren't I? God damn it. Anyway, so microwave zombie hand. Basically the way to do fail-safes from Indiana Jones, poison darts, bullets, and then a door that slams on them and stuff like that. Not landing on them on she wouldn't like that, like in The Fifth Element. The key. I'm just having fun at this point because whatever. This movie is assing off at this point. This could have been accomplished in an hour and 45 minutes. So anyway, we get a zombie horse, more zombie stuff. We get a zombie pull apart door and everything. They're trying to do stuff like Doom. This is taking so long, but I'm having fun with this review. And we get the zombie queen. And I need to concentrate. The German locksmith is telling people he needs to concentrate. I don't even need to make any jokes. And then Batista is talking, I'm just going to call him Batista, is talking to his daughter about tofu recipes. And flirtations with that Ana de la Fuega, Maria, you've got to see her, who is beautiful. I don't blame him one goddamn bit. And the safe is open. We get dramatic music and more Slo-Mo, and then all the money there. All the goddamn money. And the zombie queen was apparently pregnant with an alien embryo that dies. Okay? That sends zombie John Carter into a goddamn tizzy, and he's all upset. And Revenge of the Brain Dead. Romance of the Brain Dead. Whew. Kay goes off to get Greta. And then decides to, take one gun. A handgun among the hordes will totally work. And then everybody just separates and does everything. Zombie horses, tigers, and no bears. How boring. Totally out of it. Turn the head around. See, that's what happens when you love Batista. Apparently, you get your spine snapped. That's how wrestling works, doesn't it? And then Zombie Luchasaurus. Actually, that's who he reminded me of. Zombie Luchasaurus and Zombie John Carter. He's a Tarzan boy. So, of course, the black guy dies, or does he die? The black guy gets bitten and then tossed into the safe. That will be remembered here in a little bit. Zombie Tiger Lunch. Martin gets eaten and gouged and everything. And they're trying to make it like, oh, this guy's such a dick that his long, drawn-out death will mean something. Nah, I just didn't fucking care at this point. And Casino Zombie Royale, which would somehow be less shit than the worst James Bond movie, a.k.a. The World Is Not Enough. That was the worst one, right? That was the one with the lady with the sword on the plane and Halle Berry. So, greed will eat at you, meaning money will get tossed out of your fanny pack because the zombie's like, no, I need money for machine. And then why the zombies talk like Hulk, I have no idea. And then the zombies eat one of the guys. One of the guys that had like a fried egg on his head. And it's like, do you really want to make me cry? And more Slo-Mo gun for no explosions because everybody has to die in this thing. It's a zombie movie, and I don't care about the characters, so yay, explosions. So, man, it's the head of the queen table because Lily's got her head. Then Lily gets impaled. Lily paled, if you will. And then head goes smashy, smashy, and then he bites her. So seemingly she's going to be an alpha, because that's how that works, because he's patient zero. He's saved by zero. And then, so basically, he says to the pilot, hey, go land, I gotta go get Kate, and +8. And he saves her, and one of the friends gets eaten. I don't know who. I stopped caring at this point. She left us. No, she didn't. She actually came back for them. And then everybody basically gets hurt because she didn't think to fly further away quicker because this zombie apparently is like, I'm gonna jump like Neo and land the jump the first time. And then the pilot gets shot. Everybody gets crushed. Batista gets Bit-Tista, if you will. It's Modern Warfare 3, the ending of that, if you know what I'm fucking talking about. Snyder style. Opa Snyder style. Snyder style. So, Kate lives. Beware, Kate lives. And it's fine. It's not that deep. That's what she said. That's about her dad. That's kind of gross. She has to basically kill Batista because a zombie Batista for like 2 seconds, and then he's shot. And then acoustic zombie, what's in your head? So yeah, that guy. Let me check this again. Bandero. He got. I totally forgot. I should have just said Omari. Except that would have reminded me of that Japanese wrestler in the '96 Rumble. He has all these. He's fine. He gets out of the safe. He somehow gets through the nuked zone. Totally fine. How's that? Oh, he was bitten, so he's a zombie. He rents his private plane. He's leaving. 2 beautiful blonde stewardesses. He's drinking with them. And they doesn't feel all that well. And he's bit on the side. And they're going to get to Mexico City. And that's how they're going to do the sequel. F this goddamn movie. I enjoyed ranting about it. I don't care how much hate I fucking get. I don't fucking care. I don't fucking care. Because if a movie's good, I will give it credit. But Zack Snyder can eat copious amounts of shit for what he did to the zombie genre. He somehow managed to make it more brain dead. Which is saying something, because Children of the Living Dead exists, and Return of the Living Dead, Rave to the Grave exists. You know how hard you have to try to beat... This didn't beat House of the Dead. House of the Dead is on a whole different level. This was such an abhorrent movie with a ton of money sunk in. I didn't care. I didn't care about any of this stuff. Anyway, agree, disagree with what I said, like, share, subscribe. Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Rentlin. I'll see you soon.